I know Jason's here. He's grabbing his iPad. Okay. All right. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And Becky, would you do the roll, please?
I sure will. Jim Sheenline,
Here.
Nancy Naylor.
Present.
Tom Kitson, Mike Book.
Here.
Reed Agri,
Here.
Jason Anderson. You said he is here?
Yeah, he's, I think he's in the conference room. Yep.
Okay. And Tom Wilson.
All right. There he comes. He was getting coffee is what he was doing. Okay, we'll go around the room. Jeremy, what do you got?
Nothing until we get to my agenda item.
Okay. Charlie?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Nothing, thank you. Mr. Treasurer?
I do have some updates for you guys. As of this morning, our tax bills have gone live on the website and they should be mailed out by May 20th. They're at the printers right now. So we are in the throes of the new property tax season. So just wanted to let everybody know. You can see it online, but you cannot pay it online yet. That will not go live until the printers have mailed out tax bills. So that is anticipated to be next Wednesday, May 20th. So welcome to the next tax season.
Well, and welcome, Mr. Kitson is not here to be prepared to make his public announcement,
Well,
of
and-
treating all of our employees properly.
Correct,
With
yeah.
respect.
Yes, I would hope that they do. And really for you guys as well, in the sense of if you're getting phone calls, know that they're out there. If any of you need a refresher on how to see those online or what you want to look at, obviously stop down at the office and we'll walk you through that and, give you some heads up on some things that we've seen. But yeah, there are changes. So,
Yep.
all right. So that's all I had outside of what's on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Read anything other than the financial reports?
Well, since we're talking about property tax bills, let's also talk about maybe the budget a little bit, because that's right on the heels, right? So we normally, the department heads start that process in June, putting together their information. There is a little update to that process this year. We do have a new system provided through My Viewpoint, our accounting software provider, that will hopefully make the budget process a little easier. It was very inexpensive. I think it was like $600 a year for us, whereas some other budget softwares were, some of the cheaper ones were $20,000 a year. But so that, just to let you guys know that that is an updated process for everybody this year, but hopefully to make it a little easier on all the department heads and us for approving. And it'll keep a workflow process of what the department head approved to move to you guys, what you guys approve going forward to the executive committee and the full board and stuff like that. So just wanted to let you know of that new process.
And we'll have, the committee will have access and be able.
Yep, absolutely. And for the claims committee, they're probably going to be the ones that are the most familiar with like the My Viewpoint setup and everything like that. It'll be very similar in terms of setup and approval processes, just like our claims committee. So
Good, great.
that's
All
all
right.
for me.
All right, thank you. Mr. Anderson?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Sheriff, I read your report and I think this is the first time that you've put an item in there where someone actually was retained and became a resident in the jail.
Yes, they
So-
actually, and they're still there,
Yeah.
rightfully so.
Yeah, the other question I had was, are we looking to get another person in at 911 or?
Yes, we are. We're in the process of hiring. We're authorized for 10 telecommunicators. We're hiring our 9th, but we've got another one leaving. So
Right.
we're going to have to hire again,
Yeah.
hire and train again.
Move to Henry County.
She got married,
Oh,
and that's where her husband resides. So
Well,
I
that
think she
makes
got
sense.
tired of the commute. So
okay. All right. All right. Dean, good. Keen, Michael, Nancy, Amy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to give you a quick update on Tyler, our data conversion. Our IT department is working with our project manager, getting data over to them. And Tyler representatives will be back here in person next week working with our subject matter experts in my office, the state's attorney's office, and the public defender's office, looking at that data in between the two systems and trying to identify some issues before we do another big data push, just to see how some of our business processes are working. And we'll, try to work those things out before we do another push. But that's where we're at with them. It's going smoothly. Things are working good so far. I think we're still on target for our go live next February 27.
Okay, very good. Any questions for Amy? Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Amy. All right, Stacy? All right. Did I skip Mike? I thought I said Mike. Mike, do you have anything for us? Okay, all right, thanks. All righty, back to the agenda. We'll have the approval of last month's meeting, meeting minutes. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, entertain motion to approve the minutes, moved by Naylor, second by Acree. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay, we have the monthly financials. Reed, take it away.
Actually, I'm going to walk you guys through some of the financials, and then Reed's got some things for capital and such. So
Okay.
the first thing that I was going to go through your cash balance. I'm just pointing out that, yes, right now your county general shows a negative balance, but actually when you combine it with capital and solid waste, you're still in a very good position. And if you look at the total dollars in our bank accounts is basically the same as a year ago. It's at $28 million. So there's really not an issue with cash at the moment. Under the revenues and expenses, sales tax, income tax fees, those situations are all running as we had anticipated and budgeted. There's about 60% remaining for the year, and there's about 60% of those values yet to collect, which we don't anticipate having any problems. As I just mentioned, property taxes just are going live today. So the first distribution will be in July. So we'll start seeing that coming in July, August, September through November. The expenses are tracking right on to the 60% level, so that seems to be fine. The area that, and I'm going to let Reed take this over here shortly, but I just want to point out for capital, we are at a position we haven't been in a long time. We're at 6.999, basically $7 million in capital, and we've been tracking over 8, over 9. If you look year over year, we're down 1.25 from a year ago at this time, and from 2 years ago, we're down 2.5. Now, obviously, we do have capital expenditures that we've been going through that we've planned for, but just as you realize, I want to make sure we're thinking about for the upcoming budget, what are our needs versus our wants, because we do have basically our cushion, if you will, of what we need in our funds. And it's about a 60-day cushion of operating expenses. So from that, I'm going to let Reed take this over.
Yeah, so I have a kind of a calculation. I would call it kind of worst case scenario, because historically we have not spent all of our budgeted appropriations out of capital every year. But basically it takes the general fund, cash balance, solid waste, and capital cash balances, looks at what our requirements are, right? So for solid waste, we have a minimum $2 million fund balance. Backing out our remaining capital appropriations and to get to our minimum fund balance that we need to have. And at the moment, we have about 766,000 of excess funds, which is probably about 15 days. So we have our 60-day minimum, and then we've got about an extra 15 days. So it's probably the lowest we've been, but just wanted to point that out.
Now, this wouldn't be an unusual situation to be in, because of timing, basically.
Correct. Yep.
Because we're at the low ebb,
Yeah.
Our expenses have been steady through the fiscal year,
Yep.
but our revenues have dipped because we're not seeing,
That,
you know,
yeah,
the
it's,
timing of the revenues
this is
coming
the time of the year that we would always be the lowest, April,
Right.
May, June, before we start getting property
but
tax
this is
payments.
probably the lowest we've been in the low moment for a
Since
number of
Yeah,
years.
probably, yes,
Yep.
yes. Probably since before ARPA, and stuff like that, yes.
Right. So,
But
And-
something that we need to be cognizant of, and as a reminder of the way that we fund our capital fund is having excess revenues in our general fund that we can transfer over at the end of the year. And over the last few years, we've not been able to do that.
right. Any questions for Reed and Paul?
Can I say a few things about
Sure.
our tax revenues? If looking at this report, it's pretty consistent with what we've seen in the last few months, maybe a slight dip in some of the revenues that we're getting from the state. We do have our revenue numbers for next month as well. And it's maybe a little bit more of a drop off, probably in a sense that it's very consistent with what we got last year at the same month. But that is kind of a drop off of what we've been seeing over the last few months. I think we will still hit our budgeted amounts, but I just wanted to bring that up that we are seeing a bit of a dip in those revenues from what it had been the last probably 5 or 6 months. So something that we'll have to continue to monitor the rest of the year. But just wanted to point that out.
And once again, that's the personal property replacement tax and the local use taxes.
And the sales taxes, yes.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
including the
all-
sales taxes or,
Yes,
Okay.
those have started to dip compared to maybe what my expectation. Now, it's a few $1,000s, but a few $1,000s in each one of those over the next 6 or 7 months, that actually means something, right? But
Yep.
you
that
know,
adds up.
yeah, and it giving us, maybe it's just a 1 month dip. But we'll find out as we go forward, but wanted to keep you guys alert of that. And, obviously as we go into budget, that's going to be important information for us for budgeting what our next year's revenues might look like.
Okay, very
Jim,
good.
I have a
Yep,
question
Jason.
to read. On the general fund revenue and expense analysis.
Yeah.
Dated April 30th. The revenue item, it's called services. Can you explain what service, what that means? That.
Well, it's a very broad category, right? So any of our departments that potentially have a revenue source, the sheriff's office, zoning, Nancy's office, there are offices that don't really have much in terms of services, like the treasurer's office. They don't really maintenance. They don't really have any revenue generating operations.
Right.
But so from it's services that we're providing to the public that we can actually charge for. And it can be in a whole bunch of different offices. So it could be a very wide ranging.
Is this permitting fees, fines?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Fines that are assessed by the county, by the
Yeah.
sheriff's department?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I get it. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Reed or Paul? All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. Nancy, do we have anything from the insurance committee?
Mr. Chair, we do not have an insurance meeting this month. It was postponed till next month just due to lack of information and everyone's time. And then we will also next month have an insurance report and a wellness report from Sarah at the same time. So don't have anything else unless anyone has questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Nancy. Jeremy. Administrator.
Yep, quickly, we are still waiting on information in regard to the community project funding. opportunity from Congressman LaHood's office, looking to maybe get some more insight on that here in within the next month or two. So I should be able to provide feedback there, and that's going to, of course, alter how we utilize some of our capital funds and what other, the funding stack that we have to come up with for the new highway building. So that's going to be further conversation as we get into budget season as well. Also wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that we engaged with a consultant for the assessor's office through this transition. His name is Gary Twist. He was a longtime consultant in Tazewell County. I'm not consultant, but CCAO in Tazewell County. He and his partner, who also was a longtime supervisor of assessments and also worked for Illinois Department of Revenue, typically work with transitioning offices and townships, evaluating the office dynamics, staff, and workflow, as well as training staff and new supervisor of assessments. We just feel that this is very important as we work through this transition to make sure that our office is continuing to move forward in the right direction, as well as when we identify a potential new candidate, that they are trained to lead that office accordingly. So right now, this shouldn't affect the budget. If it does, we will, come back to you and look at a budget action request form.
Okay. Any questions for Jeremy?
So the staffing for the office, the assessor's office, the current staff, is there consideration for anybody to be promoted within that group, or are we definitely looking for somebody out the outside?
No, the position's been posted. There has been some candidates that have come in from the outside, and we have one internal candidate. And we are looking at all options and making sure that, the county moves in the right direction. That consultant is also working with us on that as well, making sure that we identify, these people who are the best fit for Lee County and what we need to do within our own operation.
What's your goal or your timeline to fill the position?
Sooner rather than later. Yeah, sooner rather than later. I don't have a timeline, but I would say that, from the state perspective, we would like to do this. Right now there's a lot going on. We have border review meetings, farmland assessment meetings at the end of the month, 1st of June. That moves things forward for, the new cycle, as well as we're working on the quad year downstairs, as well as any permitted, structures and buildings that came in last year. We have a lot of field work that needs to get done as well. I will say the building and zoning department's been fantastic. We are starting to work with them. I don't know, we've talked about this in the past, but, we have a building official that goes out and does inspections on what we permit. So, we're working on efficiencies between departments there now, where on our final inspection report, we are just taking in some of the information that the assessment office needs to do their evaluations, and taking final pictures. And we're going to work that in with the programming that we already have. So we're identifying things that are helping us here into the future with interdepartment, dynamics and workflows. But my goal would be to get hopefully a new supervisor of assessment within the coming months, while we're engaged with Gary, so he could help train this person.
A question, I'm familiar with Ogle County because I worked in Ogle County for 20 years, but when it comes to the assessments and then the appeals and the board of review, what time of year does that happen here when there's a board of review to look at protests to assessments?
Well, that typically changes. It should be when the assessment office publishes everything, depending upon when they're done with their work. After that, that's when board of review happens for everything that was published for that previous tax year. So typically they start meeting in February for those types of appeals. Publishing typically happens anywhere from October to November, with the final statutory publishing date of December 31st. So depending upon when the team gets their work done, when it gets published, that's when board of review could come in and start working on appeals.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jeremy? Okay, thanks, Jeremy. We do have one Joseph E. Meyer resolution, so I'd entertain a motion to move that to executive, moved by Book, second by Naylor. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Then we have the sheriff's report. Was there anything, any comments or any further comments from you, Clay?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Clay on that? Thank you. And I'll move on to unfinished business, and we have a request to go into executive session, and so I'd entertain that motion from Mr. Anderson. Makes a motion. He beat you to it, Nancy.
Okay.
Yes,
I was
yes.
waiting for you to finish.
Well, Jason
I'll
had that
second.
hand rolling right fast. Seconded by Naylor. All those in favor signify by saying, oh, roll call.
Hey, Jim.
Thank you.
We
Sorry.
also need, is this for?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is for compensation
Okay,
discussion.
okay, personnel. Okay. So Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Nancy Naylor.
Yes.
Tom Kitson, Mike Book,
Yes.
Reed Acree,
Yes.
Jason Anderson.
Aye.
Tom Wilson.
And we'll adjourn into the conference room, and if I could have Charlie and Jeremy join us. Yeah, it's there. You have to go to resources, committee only docs. Yeah, I was going to make sure everybody was on page. So,
Roll call.
we ready?
You ready?
Okay, entertain a motion go out of executive session, moved by Book, seconded by Acree. Roll call.
Okay, we got Jim Sheenline,
Yes.
Nancy Naylor, Tom Kitson, Mike Book,
Yes.
Rita Acree,
Yes.
Jason Anderson,
All right.
Tom Wilson.
Okay. Reed had put on, I just want to make sure that everybody was on the page. Coming from the action of the committee last week that was tabled, or last month. So we have the resolution. If you go to resources and then committee only docs, finance committee, and then elected official salary, there's two resolutions and a pay rates comparison on there, those three documents. So the first resolution was basically what came out of committee last month, and that was the 3% or 3% increase in salary and the CPI or am I getting this wrong? Let's see, wait a minute.
That's backwards. So
Yep,
what came
I
out
got
of
it
committee-
backwards. It's the
Yep.
second one. The first one is the 3% or CPI draft. The second one was what came out of committee. Was increasing salaries of the three elected officials to 85,000. And then CPI only. So that's what you're
This
looking
is-
at.
First one is the one that your committee brought to the table to begin with.
So
Yes.
just for clarification, that first one that was brought to finance committee last month was the the resolution that just stated the increase was the lesser of CPI 3% with the 3% increase to the base salary for the first year of the new term. That was what finance committee essentially put together from the month prior with the focus group. After last month, what was moved forward was the 85,000 with the just CPI as the increase year over year. And that's what's in there right now.
The second one, so it
And that's
wasn't
the
moved
second
forward, it was
one.
just
So
brought to the table.
It was,
So
well,
I really botched
Move
how
to-
I explained that. So-
finance moved it to executive tabled it for this meeting.
That's, okay, that's one, yeah.
All right, so, Charlie, parliamentary wise, okay, so executive tabled this and kicked it back, basically kicked us back to us. So we have a motion moved and seconded on the table that we have to choose how to dispose with, how to move forward with,
Mhm.
correct?
Yep.
So if there was any changes that wanted to be made from the action of the previous month, we'd have to have an amendment. Now, do,
You can either do an amendment or you can move to withdraw the motion in the second.
okay, all right.
Correct.
And that's correct. And Rita Acree, maker of the motion, and I'd have to go back, was it either you or Tom that
So
seconded?
it'd probably be easier and cleanest if you just, if you are going to change it, just vote it down and then make a new motion.
Oh, okay, all right.
Did you vote it up? I thought there was just a first and a second on the table.
Well, we had voted to move it to executive.
So then there's nothing on the, for
So
you.
there's really, okay, but
They sent it back to you to consider. So there's
well,
nothing for you to.
I think what I'm struggling with is that the verbiage that I heard was tabled. It was tabled, and
Is that what
that's
they
a
said?
different parliamentary deal.
I think they tabled the discussion or they tabled. Okay. Okay. If it's not even on the agenda, there's nothing there. So it doesn't sound like it was tabled.
All right. Sorry about this, guys. I just want to make sure that
I think it's a fair question. What's the procedure to?
Because we want to move
Handle
forward,
this.
we want to do it right.
Yours is just clear it, clear that. There we go. Okay. Mine came. Sorry, I pressed it. These are. Have you read them before? You know what them are.
Sign out,
I
sign
know.
back out.
I think you've got something open.
Back to square one.
So we are back to square one. So we can entertain a new motion to be forwarded on to executive. Okay. Yeah, right,
Becky,
right.
did you get? Did you put? You got it? Jeremy? Got it,
Okay.
okay. All right. We just-
So we are back to square one, according to my parliamentarian over there. Thank God for parliamentarians. And so we would entertain let's get a motion on the table and then go for a discussion. So Reed?
I'd like to move that we make the base compensation to increase to 85,000. With each subsequent year shall increase by the lesser of the consumer price index or 3% applied to the prior year's salary. So whichever the lesser is.
So this would be the same, basically the same recommendation as last month, only with the inclusion of the 3% CPI.
The lesser of the.
Sure.
The lesser of CPI or 3%.
Okay, all right. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Book. Discussion.
Well, it was 73 originally as it stands right now, it's 73, so. And I just was looking at those comparisons. Jeremy did a nice job. I wish we'd maybe had them sooner, but at the same point, I had plenty of time this morning to look through the comparisons to other counties based on several different scenarios. And I still think that the 85 is a fair and equitable number for the kind of county we are compared to the local counties, especially in northern Illinois. So.
And of course, one of those things, as far as these comparisons go, we don't know where, we're at the cycle where we're at. But they may have not dealt with it or are dealing with it just like we are, or they could, defer to,
Correct.
there's uncertainty within these comparisons as well,
I think-
is what I'm saying.
And I guess to add to that,
Whoop. Okay, I'm getting waved
Sorry,
at by.
the only potential thing that I would like to add to however you want to design the floor or the caps and whatever the rates, but I would recommend putting a floor to say for it to not go below zero in the event that CPI is negative.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, I also saw a flock of unicorns, last week too, Reed. But understand, Mr. Finance Director, why you put such a thing in there. How would the, let's see. Base language, or base, how would you say, how would you state that within the motion?
Amend the motion, do what?
To, so that in case there would be, you know, CPI went to
Yeah,
below zero.
So just lower of CPI or 3%, and, but it can't fall below zero. You know?
Okay,
Make that
does that
amendment.
satisfy you, Charlie?
Yeah, you just got to make the amendment to it by the first and the second.
I move to amend.
Second.
Okay, move to amend made by the maker of the motion, Mr. Acree, seconded by Mr. Book. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Okay.
No.
In favor of the
Yeah,
amendment?
favor of the amendment. All right. So, and Mr. Anderson's, vote no, noted. No, she doesn't
Just not
vote.
on the committee.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, so the motion would read that we're moving to base salary of 85,000. Every forthcoming year, increase of 3% or CPI, whichever is less. CPI cannot be, go to zero.
Zero.
Less than zero. Are we all on board? Okay, now we can discuss the motion.
Okay, I think it's appropriate to ask Ally to chime in here. In open session, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep, Ally? Did you want to make any
Yes.
comments? Are you following, have you followed where we're at?
Yeah, I would just encourage every voting member to consider the statutory obligations, the roles and responsibilities, and refer back to not only the 40 county provided list, but the financial procedures that is posted and has been posted and on board to understand the differences in some of the counties that might be here on this comparison list. Just going to go ahead and point out that Livingston County would probably be your strongest comparison based on their roles of the treasurer, their director of finance, and their population size of a county. I would strongly encourage, just for open discussion, to reconsider the base salary that was proposed based on the roles and responsibility and the statutory obligations by the county treasurer.
What's the treasurer in Livingston County make?
On here. Based on the document, what they have up for proposal is 78.2.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just didn't have it in
I
front of
just
me.
want to make a clarification that this document is a salary as of this year. So it's not moving forward. It is what their current salary is.
78,300, I'm sorry, 78,300 for Livingston current.
And the other thing that's not included in this, I'm not sure if all elected official, other counties include basically a COLA like we do. It may be 78,000. That's what you get for 4 years. You know, I'm not sure on that. So,
But the only other thing that I want to at least consider in this is I think that the wage that, and I don't know this for certain, but I'm guessing that based on the way the raises were set up, that coming out of COVID period, it doesn't appear that maybe an adjustment was made to kind of compensate or adjust for that, because coming out of COVID, everybody's expenses increased dramatically. And I'm not sure, I don't know for sure, but it just doesn't appear that maybe this was adjusted for these three elected officials. So.
Well, I really have given this a lot of thought, and the thing I really am struggling with is the idea of the timing of making this decision at this point in time, because we're in the middle of an election cycle. All of those that are elected officials that are decided to run filed back last fall to run, understanding what the compensation schedule was. And now we're in the middle of the game, and you don't change the rules in the middle of a game. You don't move the goalpost. You don't, this is just terrible, terrible timing. And so I've come down on the idea that really nothing should be done at this stage. It would be, I think, an injustice to the taxpayers because we haven't really fully vetted this like we do when we sit down and do budgets, when we meet for days to have conversations about the expenses of the county. And of course, making, any change in compensation now, of course, has ramifications forever. I mean, when somebody made the comment about, well, what if wages go down? I think last meeting, or what if we could take the wages? Well, as Tom Wilson said, in government, nobody takes wages away. So this has got a large impact on the county for many, many years to come. And I, as I said though before, I really believe elected officials, particularly at this level, who are very competent and who we fully understand their performance and what they have done to save money, create revenue, what have you. My question this morning about services is always about, I think county government needs to provide great services, and what revenue we can bring, we should bring. But this is not the time to have a conversation about compensation, not in the middle of an election cycle. And I compared it, earlier to the idea of all this redistricting that's going on in the middle. It's just wrong. It's wrong to change the rules in the middle of the game, and we're in the middle of the game we call election cycles. So I oppose doing anything at this point in time.
So,
Okay, I'll go ahead and speak just so that we can clear up. Just so based on under the Local Government Officer Compensation Act, Illinois counties have to fix the compensation of elected officers, including the county treasurer and clerk, at least 180 days before the beginning of their next term of office. So that this is why we must discuss this now. This is why this is the appropriate time.
I don't oppose the idea of having a conversation. I oppose the idea of changing anything at this stage of the game.
and I appreciate
So-
Ally reciting the statute.
So it sounds like you want to have meetings to have meetings.
Absolutely not. I think we have a very competent county administrator and state's attorney, and we can come up with some sort of a balanced way in which to do this compensation. And I think, as I mentioned maybe earlier, was that any time when there's a change in compensation for government officials, it doesn't apply to the current term, or even it has to apply to the next term. And so I just think this is wrong timing. And meetings, no, but we got a competent staff that can do the study and bring us the data, and we can make our decision based on the data.
Okay, I have a separate point that I just want to make sure everyone's aware of. This resolution is for two people. It's not just for one person. And I believe that we should separate each elected official's resolution into their single resolution. That's just my belief in it. I think that by doing them as a blanket, it is wrong. That's just a comment that I wanted to make.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with separation of the resolutions. It really makes it difficult when we talk about doing things based on merit, and you change when you change responsibilities of offices, when you lump these resolutions and lump these elected officials together, really makes flexibility problematic for a county to do things. Now, whether I don't think it's appropriate that we make that change at this time, but I think when we take a look next time, I won't be here, but the next time the cycle and the problem, Jason, in having all these lumped together is that they're on different election cycles. So every time you do them the way we're doing it, somebody's in the cycle as you describe it, and that just makes it a problem.
A year from now, you'll be in the middle of a cycle.
Right.
And you won't be pressed up against a deadline, and you'll have more information available to you.
And the other thing is that as we look at this with these lumped together, Amy is, the circuit clerk is an issue. And Jeremy?
Amy has a couple things that she wanted to highlight in regard to that.
Oh, okay.
Hi, thank you. I do want to say that there are different opinions, whether a circuit court clerk is a county officer or a non-judicial officer of the court. And there's case law and opinion out there that says we are not a county officer, we're a non-judicial officer of the court. So the 188 fixed days does not apply to us. And the county board can set the circuit clerk's salary at any time.
So
If that
technically,
helps.
we could set Amy's salary, her salary yearly if we wanted to. And adjust that.
Well, that puts a different twist on things.
I'm sorry, Jim, just so I'm clear, did you oppose for this resolution that must be completed by June? Oppose
No.
separating the positions out, or is that something that you guys are discussing doing, just so I'm on the same page?
Yeah, so I just raised the issue, Ally, and as far as, I didn't make any comment as far as opposing thing. I appreciated you reading out the statute. Now this new information in regards to the circuit clerk's position, that makes things, in my mind, all the more reason of separating things out. Is that something that we want to tackle, now? Or is that, and that's up to the committee. Right.
So what I'm sensing is that we need an amendment to separate the resolution so that the amendment that I would offer is to amend the resolution such that it only applies to the treasurer.
Well, it would be the clerk, because they're the two, we'd be looking at the three different offices. But I don't know if we want to get into that now, because that gets
Okay.
into a whole different thing, because then we'd be looking at the offices as individuals, the individual offices and roles and responsibilities. And I'm not sure we're prepared to do that as of right now.
Are we prepared to add, okay, we've got the clerk and the treasurer on this motion. Are we prepared to add the circuit clerk to that motion? So since there's no time frame on her compensation.
I think I'm getting, no. I think the answer is no, that we don't need to do that as of right now. So, any further discussion?
If hers goes to if she's a judicial, it'll go to an annual, so I think it would complicate things to put it on this motion.
Right.
It should be dealt with separately.
Any further discussion on the motion on the floor?
I guess I'm sorry, I'm confused. The motion on the floor covers all three offices? Three offices? How many offices
Okay.
are we talking about here? I thought it was
Talking,
the clerk, the treasurer.
well, as it was originally conceived, I think we were including the circuit clerk to follow the other two offices. I think it
Okay.
was, but this resolution only covers the two elected officials, the county clerk, county treasurer.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion?
Just to understand the process, whatever happens at our committee gets referred to the executive committee.
Yes, this
The
goes to
executive
executive.
committee then has their own conversation and they decide whether or not it goes, they decide that.
Well, the executive committee can place it onto the
the
agenda
agenda.
of the county board
Right.
with full consideration of the county officer.
And if the executive committee should want to amend it or change it, does it have to come back to us?
No,
No.
no,
doesn't.
it can be
goes-
amended at the full county board meeting.
So the executive committee can do whatever they want with it. They could change it, they could alter it, they could make it different.
Oh, no, I don't think they can amend it. They can choose to either put it on the agenda or not.
So
Charlie?
they're taking your recommendation from whatever the vote is you have here.
Yeah.
At executive, all executives really doing at that point is considering what's been done in the other committees and then building the agenda for the full board.
That's right.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that you guys keep in mind that this is the last opportunity for a resolution to go to full board for changing their salary. If nothing gets done, nothing changes. And they're at the exact same rate for that their term. So you need to keep that in mind.
Is it, I guess I'm a little miffed that like we voted on this, there was conversation before, executive sends us back with exactly no direction about what happened, why we're okay, reconsider this. All right, well, what are we supposed to? We gave you our recommendation that I'm not understanding why they gave it back to us. And also further, I'd consider like, for that matter, is it an option to make this motion at a meeting of the full county board without, I mean, I know that executive sets the agenda, but is that something that's allowed on a parliamentary basis? I just want to like, could I make this motion at a meeting, at a full county board meeting? Because like
What motion are you talking about?
move to set the compensation for, the motion that we're talking about now.
Correct, you're going to have to at this next meeting. Somebody's going to have to make the motion.
Okay. Because I mean, I'm a little, like I said,
But it has to be on the agenda. It has to
Yep.
follow Open Meetings Act, just like any other item. And that's the whole purpose of building the agenda on executive is so that that's published and so that the public is informed on what's coming at the next county board meeting.
So that's not an option, right?
It is an option that you have to vote on at the county board, and it's an option that has to be on the agenda.
Yeah, it has to be on the
If it's
agenda.
not on the agenda, you can't vote on it.
Correct.
And it can't be on the agenda unless it goes through executive.
Executive sets the agenda.
Got it. Okay.
Through recommendations from committees.
Okay.
All right.
I'd just like to reiterate that while this is not the best of timing to be considering breaking up the resolutions, we're talking about 4 years. To Nancy's point, I know we're down to the wire, but if we do all feel that it would behoove the interests of the county and its elected officials to have separate resolutions, while it might be inconvenient, this is the last time for 4 years to consider such a resolution.
Appreciate that, Ally. Before we close discussion, I'm going to ask Dean, Keen, Mike, you have any comments, questions? Okay. Keen?
Gotta have your mic.
Mike Keen.
We're in the 11th hour here. I think we're rushing this too fast. I don't think there's been enough time to consume what's being asked of what we want to do. Here we are now, today's got to be, a decision has to be made one way or the other. So it has to go in order to get this in before the due date for our next agenda on the county board. I don't know the true answer here. All I know is that I just think that this thing came up. I don't think there was enough time for everyone to digest and try to understand what's going on. I'm confused now with what's already been said this morning. I thought I understood most of it, but I'm kind of confused now. And there's questions I know, I'm looking around, I'm seeing some confusion with some people, I feel. And I understand everybody's view and everybody's point, but I just think that nobody's going to win here, actually, if you look, no matter what. It's, and I still look at the fact we owe an obligation to our constituents and the people of this county, one way or the other. Unfortunately, we couldn't put this on the ballot, let our constituents make a decision what they'd like to do. Can't do that. But we're here right now, this committee, along with the county board, have to decide what is best for all. It's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a conscious vote. There's no doubt about it. What do you think is the best for everybody? I really don't have the true answer of what we can do here, except we have to understand what we're actually voting for. And there's some confusion here. And there's nothing worse than voting on something you don't understand, because you're gonna have second thoughts, good, bad, or whatever later. So, I mean, this committee has a lot of responsibility. There's no doubt about it. And I appreciate and respect every one of them. And I've not ever, and I will not ever doubt their vote or opinion. That's a personal judgment on their part, that they understand what they're trying to do. And I accept that, and that's my feelings on this.
Thanks, Jason.
Being on the finance committee has been an eye-opening experience for me and all the dynamics of the finances of the county. And I think one of the due diligence issues that has not really been addressed here is looking at the long-term impact, what this decision would mean in terms of the cost to the county in the first year, the 5th year, the 10th year. What percentage of increases could this potentially lead to with CPI and so on and so forth? I think we don't have enough data. We don't have enough facts to really make a solid decision about this. I agree wholeheartedly with Keene. And I think this is something that we should really put off till we can really collect what the financial impacts are, what the scale of wages are across the board, so that we're sure we're fair and equitable, but we just don't have enough data.
Just one last comment. This was originally brought to us back in February. So I think there's been adequate time. I think we need to just move forward.
Call the
Yeah,
question.
I'd agree with Reed, and also like we had discussion, we voted, executive basically ignored us and said, talk about it again. I think we could move to call the question.
So just chairman's prerogative, what the concern was not the inclusion in the CPI. That was the heartburn and
Okay.
so anyway. All right.
Can we read the motion?
You want me to do it, Becky, or?
I want you to do it.
The motion would be to approve the resolution of increasing the county clerk and the county treasurer's salary, base salary to 85,000, with the following year being raised, here, I'm getting shoved to it. Base compensation increased to 85,000, and with each subsequent year shall increase by the lesser of the consumer price index or 3% applied to the prior year's salary, with the CPI never going to 0 or below.
And is there a ceiling on the CPI? The 3%, right?
Yeah, it'd be 3%.
Ceiling is 3%.
Yeah. Right.
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 And before we make our vote, I'd like to just make a statement. The idea here is that I really do believe that our current clerk and our current treasurer are very, very competent people. This has nothing to do about what they're doing, if they're doing their job well or not. I don't think that's any part of this discussion. So I want to say that because I believe that both of them are very, very competent, and I appreciate what they do. And as I stated in my statement last month, as being a former city employee, feeling that I was always undercompensated, I understand how they might feel. And I understand that, but I really do believe this is the wrong time to make these decisions.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I'm undercompensated as well.
Yes. Let's not even get started,
Yeah, I
Mr.
just
Book.
want to know who thinks they're overcompensated.
So you want a resolution just for you to raise your rate? Okay.
We'll duly note that in the next motion. All right, I'm closing discussion and calling the question. So because of the discussion, and I think where I know everybody is, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote. So Becky, would you call the roll?
Absolutely. Jim Sheeline,
Yes.
Nancy Naylor,
No.
Mike Book,
Yes.
Reed Acree,
Yes.
Jason Anderson.
No.
We have.
Okay, very good. Passes 3-2, and I will note that at executive. Very good. right. All right, that concludes unfinished business, and we have no new business, no further executive session. I'll entertain motion to adjourn. Moved by Buck, second by Naylor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good discussion, everybody. Appreciate everybody.